Yay! Hello, loves. It's Sonia G with a raspy voice. This is a Moon Babes Monday Night Live. I am so excited to be here and chat with you guys. I have important things to tell you. So this live is called The Third Phase of Ascension Begins. Who thought these words would ever come out of my mouth? But here we are. We are in the very beginning phases. So this is what we're going to talk about in here. I'm going to wait for a couple of you guys more to jump on so we all start together. Hi, loves. We're working with the raspy voice and the whole situation. You guys, this bug that I picked up in LA, those of you that know, that I've been traveling, and this bug that I picked up in LA, I was talking to Jessie today, our photographer girl, and she the exact same thing. So hi, Jessie, when you watch this. And hi, everybody. So we ended up without voices, and we caught some bug. That was actually a very good thing. It turned out to be a very good thing in my life, as it always is, right? Whenever we are in our highest aligned path. This week I've learned a lot. Many things have happened. Hi, my loves. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, we skipped last week, and I have many things to talk to you about. So, the third phase of ascension begins. What does that mean? Where are we at in ascension? What is going on, right? So, short recap. The first phase of ascension is when we have the awakening, right? Like the awakening phase of ascension is when all of a sudden everything opens up. Oh my gosh, there's a third eye. There's angels and guides. There's superpowers. There's chakras. They align. I ground to the earth. I have a higher self. Like, oh my God, the whole world is like an illusion, right? Like all of these things kind of happen. Like all of that, the woo-woo stuff is real, and there's rabbit holes, and then you begin, and it's like Reiki and energy work and auras and all of that. That's phase one of ascension, okay? Then you enter phase two. Phase two is really, like the first phase is really awakening, but awakening is the first phase of ascension. Then phase two is actually beginning the ascending, which is the part that we go through when you actually are like, oh my God, this is for real. I have to recalibrate my whole experience of life, right? And you shed people, and your whole crew changes, you learn new things. You go through a no alcohol phase. You go through a no sex phase. Like you can't, you have to recode. It's the recoding phase. So phase two of ascension is everything gets to be recoded. And all of a sudden you rebirth, you reemerge, and you rebirth in like a higher functional energetic of yourself. And you learn to connect with like your, star family. You learn about your galactic family. You get your guides, you start integrating higher selves. It's all the work that we've done starting in like from the end of 2019 to the beginning of 2020. This phase two was open. This is the work that we've done. If you've done the journey with me along the way, it's the work in the metaphysical mastermind. It's the work in source code. It's the work in sovereign queen. Okay. This is the work that we've done. So you start to go through your ancestral work. You start clearing and healing, right? It's a lot of clearing. It's a lot of integrating. It's a lot of truly ascending every part of you. It gets intense, but it also gets very magical, right? It's after you have like that 5D moment, and then you kind of continue and you hit the integration. So it goes from when you hit love and unity consciousness and light to where now I get to hold this love and unity consciousness and work inside of this reality that we are collectively ascending, right? So you learn like more of the healing arts and all these things, and you leave a lot of times, like we leave corporate America, or, you shift to a way of doing your job, whether it's in corporate America or whatever else, in a more sustainable way. So we switch to sustainable practices, energetic practices. We learn manifesting. We learn, the astrology. You have like all the ahas of like, this is who I am. This is what my mission is. This is what my superpower is. Like, I am a portal keeper. I am a grid worker. I have past lives on all these other places. This is awesome. You find people that resonate with you. And then all of a sudden that gets integrated. We are here where all the higher selves are integrated, not all of them, but to the extent that we've been able to access it. And we went all the way in phase 2 of Ascension from 5D, we went all the way to 39. We went up and coded through and activated these higher genetic coding inside of us according to our chakras. Okay, our chakras are where the information gets to be held in our whole complex, not just our physical body, but in our astral body and in our soul. Okay, so we access Akashic records and all of the link ups between us, our higher self, and God or creator of all that is. Okay, all of the ancestral coding and all of the new coding. In this journey, you work with, your Pleiadians ancestors, you work with your Syrian ancestors or your past lives, right? Or yourselves and your higher self. So you go through all of them. You go through Andromeda, you go through Lyra, you go through all of the Orion codes, you go through and integrate all of these different energies, and you start remembering, you start putting together the puzzle pieces of who you are. So at this point of Ascension, what is available is a whole lot, right? There's a whole lot of knowledge and a whole lot of ways that we have of doing things in the light, in alignment. There's also a lot of way of doing these things that is not supportive. There's a lot of ways of doing these things that's very fucking confusing. And there's a lot of ways of doing these things that just ends up making you feel like you're schizophrenic or you're losing touch with reality. That's why these things and being at the forefront and understanding how this energy works is very important, because we are literally activating light inside of ourselves and learning how to hold it, learning how our cells come online in such a beautiful, powerful way, right? But the physical body and the circuitry of the brain and the neural pathways, as well as all of the organs of the bodies and the tissues, have to be able to hold it, right? Like, we have to be able to actually integrate it, not just activate it, but also integrate it and then embody it. Embodiment was like a big, big part of Ascension Phase 2, right? So now we have these alignments and the energy has shifted with the whole set of the 13 times 3, which is 39D, okay? 13 is the higher self. 12 is the number of the Akashic records. 13 is the number of the higher self. There are 3 sets of 13 in the astral planes. So it goes 13, you and your higher self, and then there's 13 of your ancestral coding, and there's 13 of your source code that connects you to source, okay? And once you integrate and connect all of this, which is where we're at now, life starts to feel so supportive, so functional, so phenomenal. Everything makes sense. You are working in symphony with all of the things that happen. You're always in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, right? This is where you get in the flow. Every time new frequencies and new energies open up and we're not integrated with them, it feels a little screechy. It feels a little like, right? Like, why are you out of the flow if you were just in the flow and you just did all of these things and they were fantastic and phenomenal? It feels a little off. You're not actually off the flow. It just feels like you're coming up against new stuff, right? Feels like you're coming up against it. So right now what's happening is, now that we completed the 39D template, there are new mechanisms that are unlocking in what I am holding right here. Is the cosmos. This is your zodiac. This is your star chart. Imagine that the sun is in here, right? And we are like looking at your houses of astrology and the codex, your star chart, what you were born with, okay? Your numbers of birth, which is the combination that unlocks lots of secrets in this lifetime, because it's the only thing that we really picked. We picked many things, but we picked our birthday, and then we picked our bloodline, Okay, so we picked our family, our bloodline, our place of birth. Those are all things that we picked in order to encode information that we would later unlock. Okay, so all of these different ways of interpreting energies like astrology and numerology and human design, etc., they help us to decode and remember who we are, to get to the core of who we are, right? And so now we understand that. So all of these systems that have been birthed are great in uncovering who we are so that we can get to those next layers, okay? So now, again, we went to the 39D, okay? We understand astrology. We've understood, for the most part, right, all of these different houses, all these different planets, all these different constellations, how they hold light, how they hold codes for us. We understand how portals open and how they unlock different streams of consciousness that come, right? And all of a sudden they blast in. We understand that when there's geomagnetic frequency, the geomagnetic activity, the frequency gets raised. We understand that the Schumann resonance is a reflection of that, and the earth and the heartbeat of the earth and the frequency of the earth navigates through ascension as well as we do, right? Like as well as like the everything else on the planet. This is the first time that a planet ascends with life, with conscious life on top of it. Okay, so we are part of this great human experiment, if that's what we want to call it, for so many amazing good things that we're doing. So in this part, as the earth is moving up, we're now understanding the astrology. We're understanding who we are. We're understanding the coding of our reality. We know our job. We know our star job. We know our star lineage. We know our families, right? We understand all of these things. We understand our past lives. We understand the frequency that we came to emit, the codes that we came to share with the world, our job, right? All of that. We understand all that. So now we get to unlock the whole coding in the skies that is held in the zodiac belt in a whole new way. And this is Ascension Phase 3. There is shit in there that I didn't know was in there. And this is not a very eloquent way of saying it. But what's happening is the zodiac belt, if I say that, you guys understand what it means, right? So it's the consciousness circle. It's the whole vibe that wraps around the earth, right? The stars that we see at night, that like with the way that the earth moves and all of the stars moves, okay? We have all of the star beings like right here behind us, representing. So all of these layers hold codes, right? All sections of the houses in astrology, or not even the houses, because I'm trying to find words that we don't have yet, because it really goes beyond. It goes into unlocking all of these different systems. But every star cluster, every piece of where we have deposited information that goes through our star chart, through our birth chart, through our galactic lineage, it's all filling up with light. So if you have established these, and light is knowledge, light is information, okay? Light is code, like light codes. This is information. So the way that it's coming in is if you have connections available. So if you have been doing your work and you will go and look, it's almost like you can open doors. There are doors to be opened in every section. Okay, in every section of your star chart, it's coming to life in a different way. The stars and the planets have always been alive, right? And we know this. A lot of times, like you can just sit out there, especially if you're a star seed, or any kind of like, whatever, starseed. If you know you're not from here, right? If you're made of galactic stuff. And you look at the stars and you see them going like this at you, and you see them communicating with you, and you know that you receive messages and downloads from the sun, and you know that you receive and download messages from the light of the stars and the sun and the moon, right? All of it. So if you go and put all of the things together in your star chart and in, what's actually happening out there, you will find that there's new doorways that are opening. There's new doorways in the astral planes that are opening that reconnect us to knowledge that each and every one of us has individually deposited in layers, bandwidths of frequencies in our coding of our original divine blueprint. That's really what it comes down to. But there's a blueprint, right? So there's layers of it. And as we move through it, this is phase 3, is we are now collapsing the cosmic knowledge. But we are now opening up, right? We're going cosmic. We're going all the way beyond. And this knowledge now has to be discovered and integrated. And this is way beyond the work that we've been doing. So it's a matter of going to discover it, right? So Ascension Phase 3 is not something that has been done. It's not something that is out there. It's something that starts now. It's something that those of us that are going to go and explore and pioneer this, right? We get to actually translate it. We get to colonize the new space openings in the cosmos. And so, if you can find it, right? If you can go in uncharted territories and you can go and find it and unlock it, you will discover what's in it for you. But you have to understand how to do this, right? And you have to understand how to do this with the protocols of light. So you want to be safe. You don't just want to eject out of your body and fucking go flow around and knock on random doors in the astral plane and see what you find. This is not what we do. Okay. So develop a framework for you to be able to move through these layers of higher consciousness. Now that I've explained to you how it works in the stars, because for me, since I'm here, my job is to map the stars and to translate, right, these higher frequencies into a practical experience of life. So I can explain to you what it looks like in the stars. And now I'm explaining to you, what does it mean? It means that it's a mission readjustment. So you will find yourself, okay, if you are moving through in alignment with this ascension, you may feel right now very disconnected from your mission and your purpose, which it's not that you're disconnected. It's just that your mission and purpose are getting elevated. They are energizing on a whole other frequency that has not been available. It's a different bandwidth. Okay. So first you have to go land it. You have to go integrate it. And then you're going to have a rediscovery of what that means for you and how to apply it to your mission on planet Earth, right? So if life was getting weird, things aren't moving fast enough, the collapse of this 3D world is not happening fast enough, why haven't people figured it out yet? All of these different things, right? If you were feeling any of that, which it's actually going amazing, and a lot of higher consciousness is developing in the world. There's just a lot of people that are continuously pushing, right, the lower vibes, but we don't really necessarily need to listen to any of that. So no, cancel, right? The majority of the information that's being broadcasted on the broad bandwidths, frequency bandwidths, is incorrect. It's false information. It's disinformation. So if you tap into the general consciousness, you're not getting the real deal. You have to rise above it. Okay. You have to learn, because you have the ability as a star seed, as a master of light, as an infinite soul incarnated into this moment of time, as being here on my channel too, and being guided to work with me. You have this ability. It's just like a muscle system that you have to develop. You have to learn how to access these higher frequencies and, start to decode this work. This is stuff that I teach. You don't have to learn it with me. You can go, learn it by yourself. But the point is that we came here to decode, right, this higher knowledge and actually bring it back. We are birthing it back through. So we're not repeating the same stories that I'm saying this because I keep seeing this on the internet. We're not repeating the same stories of transitioning from 3D to 5D or getting stuck at the 8th D. This was in the 80s. This was the 70s and the 80s. They didn't unlock 12, and 13, and then all the way to 39. They didn't have that. So stop utilizing a framework that uses 7 chakras or 8th dimensional planes. You are going to feel like you're not moving forward because you are utilizing an old framework of consciousness. You want to shift to higher grids, to higher frameworks where it's actually working on 39th dimensional energy, okay, and the 39 chakras, and all your DNA activated, plugged in through your chakras, and you're now operating on full functional capability inside of your physical body, connected to your etheric astral body. Now you're at the forefront. Now you're at the top of what is available, and it feels good, and it feels energizing, and it feels regenerating, and it feels like everything makes sense, and it feels like it's the opposite of being depressed, right? It's where everything makes sense. It's where you're on top of, understanding all of the things. That's where you want to be. So you want to rise above. You want to rise all the way up. Get your information there, not from the mass consciousness, right? And not even from the mass people that consider themselves woke, okay? Because a lot of that is really not very awakened. It's really at the very beginning stages of being awakened. So it's like a whole layer of bandwidth, right? Like that. So you want to go all the way up. You want to rise above. You want to go and connect to, these higher frequencies. So as you have your framework of reality solid and you've been doing the work, now you can go and expand. A lot of the work that we've been doing, if you've been working with me this past year, past couple of years, has been a lot about the integration of your chakra pillars. We've been integrating chakra after chakra after chakra, knowledge, right? And DNA, knowledge and DNA. We've been doing all this work that goes through all these chakras. What are chakras? They're portals. They're portals of information. They hold codes and knowledge, okay? And every one of us has that, our own personal access to everything. So we are now expanding, but you have to have a solid chakra pillar, okay? Chakra pillar wants to be all the way crystalline chakra pillar from heaven to earth and all the way through you. Now we're going to go this way. Now we're going to go like more cosmic, and we're going to start weaving. But if you don't have a solid foundation, you want to focus on building your foundation first. Now we're going to go weaving and building, which means we get to hold bigger. We get to expand farther. We get to unlock different layers within ourselves that go all the way beyond. We get to retrieve that knowledge and we get to move beyond it. That's always the thing. The work in Ascension is always discovering something, which is also activating it, right? Learning it, which means integrating it, and then moving past it, which is embodiment. And this is what we're doing, and we're doing it in the stars. It just makes sense. It's kind of like the same thing that we do whenever we want something. First, there's a desire, and, it's an activation of some sort. It's a desire. You want a thing. You found a thing. Oh my gosh, I want the thing. Then number 2, right? The integration is you're manifesting the thing and you manifested it, and that's integrated. You've done it. You're a match for it. It's integrated. It's in you. You're living in the house of your dreams. You manifested the money. You manifested the man, right? Whatever it is in the physical plane. And then you embody it. So now you don't have to manifest it anymore because it's done. And now you're living that life. Now you're living the lifestyle. Now you're just the embodiment of it, which is the maintenance of it. And now as you've done that, you move beyond, right? And so you're moving beyond, and the people that as you move through and embody here, then you teach this part and you embody this part and then you teach this part, right? And this is kind of ascension because we're conquering, we're putting our flag, right? Like we got this, we've integrated this, we've embodied this, and then we keep moving. And it's like we're colonizing, in a sense, these layers that become available of frequency, and we're learning this knowledge. And what does it do? It brings us back to being whole. So the biggest way that you'll know if this conversation applies to you, you have excuse me, you feel like there's a new kind of a void that's showing up. And you may be interpreting it as you're doing something wrong, or things aren't working the way they used to, or your practices aren't quite hitting right. Or there's kind of this underlying sense of, I'm not seeing the results, or I'm not doing it right. Like there's an undercurrent that's kind of like opening up a void that wasn't there before. And the reason why that occurs, the reason why that happens is because there's new. So it opens up a new ground floor that makes you feel like you're slippery, right? It's new energy underneath. But on the top of it, it's new knowledge that wants to be grasped and wants to become available and wants to come in. And as you bring this in, then you actually feel wholeness again. So whenever you don't feel whole, it's not necessarily you're doing anything wrong, right? It's because there's more, and your soul, your spirit knows this, right? And so there's an unconscious part of you, a subconscious part of you that wants to expand into what's available. It's kind of the same energy that when you're like the black sheep of your family and you're sitting down with your family and your family's having like silly conversations that you're just like, you guys don't see this. This is how it works. Like, open your mind. This is, this is the truth. This is what's going on. And you see these things and you know how to do things in a better way, right? You see it, but they don't see it. And so, and you just kind of have this feeling like these people don't get me. This is not where I belong, kind of a vibe. Whenever you start feeling that energy kind of rumbling inside of you again, that it feels like something's up, this is not where I belong, something's missing, right? Kind of a thing. Generally, it's because there's new layers to open up into. There's new layers to expand into. Your being, your inner being, your soul wants to grow, right? Wants more information, more knowledge. So this is where we're beginning to expand in this phase 3, which is a higher cosmic integration of knowledge. And this is when we're going to start bilocation in a very real way, and teleportation in a very real way across time and planes of existence, and in different star systems, etc. This is the part that we've been waiting for, right? This is the part where the exchange of knowledge is going to get very fluid, and it's kind of like this crossover. But it's important to integrate it correctly so that you hear the information correctly, so that you don't do stupid shit. And I'm just going to say it because some of the comments that I saw, somebody asked, I heard you can get rid of your chakras. Is that true? That is the most dangerous fucking thing that you could do. So there's a lot of disinformation out there. Don't get rid of your chakras. Your chakras are part of the most sacred knowledge. They're portals and encodings of sacred knowledge that you have inside of you. Why would you get rid of your divine blueprint? Because somebody is tricking you to lose your divine inheritance. So be careful who you work with, and be careful who, like, the information that you're plugging into, okay? There's a lot of like craziness. I almost wanted to stop talking about these things because I saw the level of disrespect and the level of the way that this work is held in a false sacred way. There's a lot of people that haven't figured out how to respect it and how to hold it sacred. The majority of these people live on TikTok. They're not necessarily the people on Instagram. But I felt my heart drop. I recently opened TikTok because we started posting on there, and my heart just sunk, and I was like, this is not right. This is the fucking devil in form. Like, it's such a lower energy that's masked as higher energy. And I honestly think that a lot of it is like made up, and there's accounts that are meant to create this disinformation, right? And just kind of pollute all of the different airways, all of the different all the different frequencies, so that then if something becomes not sacred, it's kind of like what's happened to a lot of things and the practices in our society. Think about what happened to sex. This is the same thing that happened to Ascension. Once upon a time, sex was sacred. Everybody on planet Earth understood this. Sex is so sacred that it actually has the power to birth human life, like to birth life from the heavens onto the physical plane. That's what sex does. Sex is such a sacred experience. In our culture today, sex has been completely rendered unsacred. Sex has become an open portal for craziness, right? There's a lot of different shit that's attached to sex. It's been like demystified in a way that has brought it down to like non-sacred. And, you know, somewhere in the middle of that, of where the way that it used to be held, and whatever, I don't need, this is not necessarily a conversation about sex, but it was a comparison. It's kind of what happened, right? Sex became porn. Sex became all sorts of, you know, sex labor and trade, and like all these kind of crazy things that are not utilized to birth life on planet Earth and are not utilized for highest consciousness. It became something that was so torn up and utilized for non-sacred purposes. This is what's happening to the practices of Ascension. Do not let that happen to you and your practices and the things that you know to be true. Hold your vibe, hold your frequency around these concepts of ascensions and the framework that you've created. Don't pick up, you know, those etheric STDs, you know, like don't pick them up. Like it's not, your integrity and your alignment with your purpose and your mission is sacred. It is important. And confusion, my mom would always say when I was little, and it's so true. Confusion is of the devil. Clarity is from God, right? Not that we need to be that dramatic, but confusion, and this is true. This is actually like stuff that's written in a million different ways through, you know, sacred ancient texts all throughout the history of time. When you're in an energy of confusion and everything feels like it's just kind of like, you know, chaotic and whatever, those are lower energy fields. When you're in clarity, when the energy is clean, that's higher energy. Higher energy is never like confused and just kind of all convoluted and, you know, all sticky. That's not higher energy. Higher energy is clear. It's transparent. It's clean. You know exactly what you get. You know exactly what the transaction is. Your mom is right. I know, right? That's exactly it. So as all of these different concepts within ascensions are getting confusing, be careful. Don't get confused, right? Always know where your center is. Know who you are. Know what you stand for. Get clear on all of that is you, because that's what you build on. And don't build on anybody else's light, okay? I realized this recently. I had one teacher that was a teacher that would do work for me instead of teaching me how to do this. This was the same teacher that I broke up with in Costa Rica, in a sense, where just kind of like we had this breakup moment where, you know, the true colors actually like, you know, came out. And she wouldn't teach me how she was doing certain things. She was just doing them for me, which is very much a relief. A lot of times we do want to, you know, work with other people that are holding a certain frequency that can do certain things. What happens is you're also giving your power to be attached to somebody else's light. So you have to be careful. I had a whole crumbling this last week of lots of work that I had done with this person, and I felt like it just all crumbled on me. And I was like, why are all of these old things coming down? And it feels like they're just falling on me. And I was like, because they were attached to somebody else's light. And if that person falls and their light falls, you built on someone else's light. So make sure that you don't do that, right? When you work with me, that's why I always teach you guys how to do it. And as my girlfriends say, I make you do it. My girlfriends are always like, are you going to make me do that? Or can you just do it for me? And it's like, no, I'm going to make you do it. Not because I want to make you do it, but because of the importance that it carries when you do your own work and you build your own framework of reality, right? Of course, when you have the like when you have moments that are like crisis moments and you're like, oh my God, I need to untangle this right now. I need work. I need help right now. Of course, you can go to somebody that's going to help you. You know, there's energy healers, There's people that can get you unstuck, but then always go back and understand the work that was done. Be conscious. Don't offload your work to someone else, right? In any way. Now, I wasn't offloading. I was just working with somebody who knew more than me, who I was in awe of, and who was doing this work for me. And thank God I could track the energy and see what she was doing. So I understood it in my own way. But, yeah, there are, it's important that you understand what's being done and that you see it and that you're able to follow it, right? Now, this is not the same as when you don't feel well and you have people send you healing. That's different, right? You're receiving things. But if somebody is going to go into your Akashic records and remove contracts, don't do that. You have to be present. You want to be there. If somebody's going to go in your fucking chakras and remove one, no, don't do that, right? If anybody is going to go in your energy field and do something, become conscious of what they're doing, because you are ultimately a sovereign being of light. This is about sovereignty. You are fully 100% responsible for every choice, every decision you take, every move that you make in physical realms, in the astral realms. It is your responsibility. And there's literally a law that you should have known better. If you were exposed to the concept once, that's it. That concept and that knowledge needs to stay. You should have known better, but you didn't operate at the level that you have known, right? So you become responsible and you hold that. This is the reason why all religions preach repentance. You must repent. You are a sinner. That's really what it means, is that because you have learned these things, you know, you have been exposed to higher knowledge, but you're not utilizing it. Therefore, it makes you a sinner, right? Or you have fallen down, like whatever. This is how they interpret it. But the truth of it is that when you have access to practices like being in alignment, and you know how to get in alignment, and then you don't get in alignment, and instead you make shitty choices and you yell at people and, you know, you end up getting in an accident, let's just say, or whatever, like something happens. That's an evolution of you being out of alignment. But you know, and you have the skills and you have the knowledge of how to be in alignment. You're responsible for that shit. 100%. That's what being sovereign is, right? We're fully responsible for all the things. Always accountable, always responsible. So yes, when you have somebody that's working on your energy, you're responsible for that. When you have somebody that's going in and out of your field, this conversation about the chakras, let me see what happened here. Like if somebody removes your chakras, that person is responsible for infringing free will. But maybe they didn't infringe free will because they had your yes, okay, go ahead, you know, and do that. And then you're responsible for giving up a part of yourself, right? Can you get your chakra back? I hear when you get rid of your chakras, your body creates a new energy system near your heart chest. Is that what you're talking about? Okay, no. Nobody is getting rid of chakras. Do not get rid of your chakras. Chakras are important. They are wheels of consciousness. They are storage devices of energy that is you, that is your life. These are your codes. You get to evolve them. You get to rotate them. You get to encode them with new knowledge. So you do get to merge them. They get to flow differently. They get to elevate. They get to upgrade. But you're not removing the fucking software. If you remove the software, you cannot upgrade it. So it's kind of like saying, hey, if I remove my house, if I demolish my house, can I get a new roof? Well, no, because you don't have the fucking house. So you can't get the upgraded roof. Okay. So keep the house and remodel it. You're not, and it's really not even a good analogy because like a house, you could demolish it and rebuild. That's not how chakras work. Chakras do merge. They become a chakra pillar. But if you do not have wheels to merge into your chakra pillar, then you don't got it. Then your pillar is empty and then you don't got the coding. Okay. And it would require an insane amount of work to re-download all of that. Your chakras build through the coding of life on earth. So it's your grounding mechanism. It's your creation mechanism. It's your willpower. Okay. It's your heart. It's your voice. It's your third eye. It's all of the very powerful knowledge that you need to function in higher functionality with the genetics that are not activated inside the DNA. That's all held in your chakras. So whoever is out there removing chakras, they are not working for an agenda that is the highest agenda of the light. They have been duped. Somebody has, gotten them into some kind of thing because chakras are like, it's almost like if it was a USB, right? If it was a secret encoding of codes, of energetic codes, that's the kind of energy that like entities beyond this realm will eat, right? It's the same reason why they keep people, they feed off of it. They feed off of the energetics that people give up and give off, right? One of the reasons why they keep people in fear, they call it luge, is people in fear produce an energy frequency that's called luge. This luge attracts darker entities that come and feed off of you. Energy is, a force. And so it sustains their life in this way. So your chakras and whatever was removed from them and the energy that was removed from them, if it goes anywhere besides source light, which I guarantee you source is not taking your chakras. So that's not it. But if anything that you ever let go of does not go straight to source, you are feeding an entity. And be very fucking careful of who you're feeding and where that stuff is going. So this is one of the side effects of people that don't learn Reiki, for example, correctly. We're going on a tangent, but apparently, it might serve someone. So people that don't learn Reiki, legit Reiki, but they get like an online certification that you've never actually felt, the thing, the way that it was supposed to be felt. When you actually get a true activation of Reiki, it feels like fucking fire in your veins and it's actually painful. It is like a real thing. And a lot of people it's like, I flow Reiki through my hands, whatever, and and you send it. And we have to be careful because our energy is so powerful. You forget what you're doing. Anyways, what was I saying? I digress with this whole thing. We were talking about chakras. Maybe we didn't need to talk about it. Maybe it wasn't something that we needed to talk about. We were talking about, giving up energy. Thank you. So if you are giving out, parts of things, of blocks, of, surrendering, when you're surrendering things and you're letting go of ginormous amounts of energy, who is that going to? Get clear on it. People that have Reiki do that. They take things out of people. They use like different symbols, and they use like symbols like chakure or like other symbols, or seiheki. Like those of you guys that have Reiki know what I'm talking about. And you chop cords and then you remove things. And I see people just like dump them on the ground. Well, where the fuck does it go on the ground? You have to have a disposal mechanism. You have to know exactly who's picking up that energy, because you are responsible for where that energy goes and where you put it. And if you put it in the ground of your house, or if you give it to one of the angels, or if you give it to, know who you're handing it off to, because it's going to someone. We are responsible for everything that we do. So if it's not going directly to source light, have an understanding of that pathway of where that goes, okay? So you have to have your systems in place. So don't just let it go, because then what happens is these people become leeches. By people, I mean entities. They can become leeches and they just continuously suck on your energy, okay? So that's not what you want. Anytime you give something up that belongs to you, that is a part of you, that has been in you, a hurt, a pain, a fear, a dream, a chakra, apparently like a kidney, you know what I mean? It goes to somewhere. Where does it go? Who is picking it up? Energy is energy, and it moves through different fields. You're still responsible for it, okay? So if somebody else gets a hold of your chakra and it has all of your childhood programming because you decided to give up your root chakra for somebody else, that person just got your recording, your sweet childhood recording. A lot of people can probably feast on that on the other side, right, of things. A lot of energies and entities that feed off of human, energy stuff instead of food, it's their food, right? They can utilize that. And now you just gave up and got erased, right? Your belief systems, your belief structures, your ability to feel safe, your ability to function in a community. It's all in your root chakra. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you have to be careful with this stuff. So I hope that this is making sense. Yes, I heard a lady say she doesn't have any, and she had negative energy. She was weird. Yeah, about these chakra things. Yeah, it's just, there are things like this that are happening that are just not of the light. Yeah, so don't let go of your chakras. Don't do it. Okay, amazing. We got this figured out. Okay, loves. So now that we've had this recap. So all of these things to me are obvious. All of this stuff I have taught. If you guys don't know how to connect your chakras, okay, and going from the old school, there's 7 collar chakras in the body, and then you have potentially a couple more that connect you to your higher self, right? If you don't know how to reconcile from that system to I am a unified chakra pillar of source light energy, and the alchemy of heaven and earth runs through me, then go and get the Metaphysical Mastermind or the Sacred Chakras Journey. These are the courses that I taught this work in. By now, you are running on crystalline light in your chakra pillar. You're not collars anymore. You're crystalline. Your energy has gone crystalline. And I'm not saying you specifically. I'm saying people that are at the forefront of ascension. You're not in collared chakras. You are in crystalline energy if you've been doing this work. And that energy fuels you and runs you between your physical body down to the core of the earth, all the way to source at 39D. Okay, so amazing. Yeah, the paintings behind me are the star beings, and they are the beings that came in and worked with me at the beginning of all of this to discover all of these things. So that's why we're in this position tonight. I always move around. It's like we have so many different backgrounds here in my big retreat room. There are so many things. So, okay. Yeah. Ascension Phase 3, my loves. We're conquering the cosmos in a whole new way, right? At this point, so now that we've had this lower parentheses. So, but important to clarify certain things. So now you've integrated higher selves, And not everybody's called to this journey, by the way. You may not be called to this journey. This is not, I speak to a very specific soul family group, and I hold a very, kind of clear frequency of the things that I teach and the way that we do things. And so when you resonate with my teachings, you know that, you're moving forward in a lot of clarity. So unlocking the coding that's inside of your star chart, which is your birth chart, in the star lineages that come from your stars, okay, and the knowledge that we have, the stars that encoded you, then we have deposited knowledge along the way in different systems, in different star systems, in different lifetimes. That knowledge is now becoming available to us. So if you want to come and explore and be on the forefront of this, retrieve the new layers of information and, activate them and integrate them and bring them in to be part of your sacred practice as a light worker, as a coach in your experience and the codes that you're carrying on life, on planet Earth, in your communities, in your families, however you're doing it, or it's in your job. This is why a lot of people, to me, it's like you're either a light worker or you're a coach. One way, or you're a coach to your children, you're a light worker to your family, right? Like, I feel like those two categories kind of just encompass everything. Or, you're a business owner that's also in the business of light work, right? Because it becomes our mission, our purpose, our job, our everything. Some of us signed up for it to be that way, right? And for some people, it's just a part of your life, but you actually have a broader reach of people that you need to get to. And so you do have the corporate America jobs, and you do have community, kind of jobs, because it's your job to be the activator in, community settings in a different way. We all have a sacred job and our sacred purposes. And the most important thing is that we stay true to the core of what we came to do, right? Because that's the plan. That's what we're responsible to do. We're not responsible to compare to anybody else. So amazing. Amanda says, I go back to Mastermind and Ninja Lightworker several times. Magical work. Yes. Those courses together are phenomenal. So Metaphysical Mastermind is now it's the foundation. I'm going to launch it again this year. And I think I'm actually going to bundle it. For those of you that are new, I'm going to bundle it together with StarCodex Crystallize. Because obviously, just like we've crystallized our chakra pillar, right? And we went through and unified our channel to operate in highest alignment with source, and with the crystals at the core of the earth. So once we've done that, we're now crystallizing all the knowledge that we have in the stars. And that's going to be next level. So in order to understand the work that we're doing in this new course, which I called StarCodex Crystallize, we're literally crystallizing the knowledge in the stars. I'm so excited. So those of you that are going to be coming on to this course, we're going to do this in 2 full immersion chunks of days. So we're going to be having I haven't decided if it's going to be a sequence of 3 days, 3 days and 3 days, or it's going to be 2 days and 2 days and 2 days. I need to figure this out. But it's going to be back-to-back work that we're doing, because we're activating and integrating all together. So we're going to go really fast in it, but we're crystallizing this knowledge. But it doesn't mean that we're not thorough. Really fast does not mean we gloss over anything. It means that we're actually going to be coming back loaded with knowledge. If you haven't had a sense of where you're going and you need direction and you need to figure out, your new mission and your new purpose, then this is where you're going to find it. It's all of that, that higher knowledge, the next layer, the evolution, right? The evolution of consciousness. So think back to the way that you felt amazing once we all of a sudden, right, let go of the matrix and we understood all of these other things. Now it's happening on a higher level. So it's so excited. I'm so excited for it. So I will be offering a bundle. I have been so sick this week with this bug that has been a phenomenal like blessing in my life, which is so weird, but that's how it works, right? I feel like the biggest blessing of this, like being sick for an entire week after like a trip to LA, has been like, it's the way that it affected my relationship and the love that Henry and I have rediscovered, it just being together with, you know, facing this situation together. So it was actually really, really cool. And I feel very, recharged from it, which is so strange, but that's what happens when it was meant to be and it was meant to happen. So anyway, so I am back on. I'm feeling better, even though my voice is still a little raspy, etc. But I am back on, and I will be updating the course, the course, you know, marketing page. So it's a page that you see where you land on my website, so that it gives you the information to see. Marketing is a word that tells you, hey, this is what I'm offering. See if it fits for you, right? And so that it's on a page that I call the marketing page, because if I don't tell you what it is, you'll never know if it's for you, right? So that's where we exchange the energy. I put the energy on the page, you go and read the page, and then you're like, hey, I want to pick up what she's putting down on this page. It feels like there's a fit here, right? And a lot of times it's not even necessarily the words, it's the energy that's encoded on the banner and on the page that you understand. So I will be offering on there most likely a bundle for those of you that are new to my work and you feel like, hey, I want a part of this, but it feels like so advanced and I need I may need some also groundwork. That's the Metaphysical Mastermind. So I'm going to give you a bundle deal, which means I call those the double ups. And so that you get like a discount on them. Okay. If you kind of feel like I do need to jump into this, I've always known I need to break through the boundaries of astrology. I've always known that we need to learn, something from astrology, but I haven't figured it out, right? This is it. Like we're breaking through the coding that astrology has held. I'm just so stoked about it. So, yes. So, and then of course, you guys, if any of you want to be a part of it, and I'm talking about this because Amanda brought up, Mastermind and Ninja. So there's a lot of knowledge inside of the courses that I have taught that are the metaphysical courses. Extraordinaire is the membership, the yearly membership that you pay for monthly, where you get an amazing deal by paying monthly. And having a commitment to go on this journey for an entire year with me. Okay. And so everything that I launch, everything that I open up, you're automatically in for and you're a part of. So you're going to be at the top of this energy that's coming in. That's extraordinary. So if you go to moonbabetribe.com and you click on extraordinaire, you can still jump in. It's not closed. I think this year I'm going to leave it open until the end of February because we kind of had a different start this year. I feel like the year started the beginning of like February instead of January. Like the energy was kind of like it still had to clear up and now we're moving forward. So I feel like it's going to stay open and maybe we'll just have, a different 12-month sequence. But anything that I launch from now moving forward, right, you will be on that with me. And so, together with the bundles and things like that. So go and check it out. It's called Extraordinaire because, of course, it's an extraordinary year ahead. We are looking at, we're looking at starting probably towards the end of February with StarCodex Crystallize. But as soon as I add more information, the pricing is going up because that's what I do with the courses. So if you trust yourself enough to take the leap at the beginning when I put all of the general information for the course, besides like the modules and the specifics. So when you jump in before the specifics, you get like a price deal because that's just how I work. I don't know. To me, it makes fucking sense. So that's just how it works. When you jump in at the beginning and then you get, the current pricing. And then as I load it up with all of the information and there's no more, guesswork, like you don't have to actually like leap into it, then the price goes up, right? Because the energy and what I'm putting into it goes up. So the price goes up. But at every point, you're always welcome to jump in, no matter what, right? Just know the price changes. So if you feel it, don't wait for it because as I update it and as we go, it'll go up. Okay, cool. So thank you. Amazing energy. Do we have class tomorrow for Money Rush? Yes, we do, Amanda. And because we have shifts inside of the Moon Babes team. So we had some people that departed the team and some new people that are coming on the team. Those of you that are like on, the full membership with me doing all the courses, you may have like some, you should receive an email tonight, and all of the things are coming from me right now. So as I'm training new Moon Babes team members, which is an exciting moment. Leveling up always creates an opportunity for us to expand in new ways. And sometimes it comes in challenges, but yes, we have class tomorrow for Money Rush. In fact, Money Rush is also still open because I decided to never close that course. It's the energy of the rushing of the money, like feeling the rush of money, manifesting it in an alignment. And tomorrow we're actually talking and going over and practicing money magnetics. So what it feels like to be magnetic to money. So we're going to play with our energy fields tomorrow. I'm so excited. Money Rush is live every Tuesday. If any of you have been working on your money manifesting game, that's where you want to go, is Money Rush. And you guys, my website is www.moonbabetribe.com. And all the things that we've talked about are here in the link in my bio. Okay, so you guys, extraordinary is worth it. I'm going to screenshot this. That's amazing. It totally is. It really is like such an amazing thing. I love it. Maybe we'll put that somewhere. Thank you for sharing that. Are we going to do the health this year? Yes. So this year we are going to break through bounds of astrology. There's a lot of health that's coming in, physical health. There's like 2 courses that are already, like the banners are already up, so you can go and see. One of them is called Sacred Health. It's on the Extraordinaire page. There's another one that's called Light Body Rehab. Those are heavy on the physical health of the body, and those are both coming out this year. So I'm really excited for them. And then we have we had the Money Rush course on money, and then we have the StarCodex Crystallize, which is brand new. So there's already like 4 brand new, massive, life-changing courses inside of this year. So it's really exciting. So yeah. Amazing. We have a question. I have so many ideas I want to create, but I find it hard to tap into it. Why? Because you haven't learned how to ground the energy. So this is the thing that a lot of light workers run into, and a lot of creative types run into. So I'll answer this. This is a good question. So knowing how to actually grab a hold of a coding, of an idea, right? An idea is like there's ideas for everybody. Everybody that learns how to access the astral planes, there's a shit ton of ideas. But then once you grab those ideas, bringing them down and grounding them into the physical and translating the energy and making it stick, that's a form of art. That's the stuff that I teach you how to do in Goddess on Mission. I literally have a course for that. Okay. So it's called Goddess and Gods on Mission. And there's a part where you figure out what to do. Like, I have this idea. How do I bring it in the physical? How do I birth it? Right? Or I have a million ideas. Which one is the right one? And then how do I actually go to figuring out the one and bringing it into the physical, organizing it on the physical plane so that it's grounded and it's an idea that's put into form, and the form benefits me and other people, and those other people will then pay me in the form of money for the exchange of energy and the things that I figured out how to do because it benefits them. So there's an exchange of energy where you've created something into the physical. You've understood and you've learned how to take an idea and, or an energy field and actually grab it from the astral plane and say, you know what? This is mine to teach. And then you ground it in and you break it into, all of the parts that are needed on the physical plane. So it's the opposite of ascension. Does that make sense? Like, even though in ascension, we're required to do this, it's an energy exchange. So you're bringing it into the physical, and then you get to put it into, physical, practical bubbles of things that's, you know, like an art form. And then that's where the exchange of energy comes in. So, yep. So it is one of those things. So if you are curious about that, you can go and look at like, Goddess and Goddess, Gods and Goddesses. Oh my gosh. Goddess and Gods on Mission. I keep saying it backwards, but that course will launch later in this year, but you're always welcome to purchase it whenever. You guys can get any of the courses on the website that are available, any of them that you can click on, and you go to the checkout, right? And it's available, and the checkout is available. That means that you can buy it anytime. The ones that I like to like run through live with you, those you'll find that they have like, there's a wait list, or, you know, there's the checkout doesn't link up anymore. That's because, you know, I want to run it live with you. I really want to hold that energy in a live way for that specific course. Okay. I love you guys. Happy Ascension Phase 3. Let the journey begin. Stay in your heart. Stay connected to your higher self and to the earth. Grounding is vital in this phase. You have to be grounded. Okay, you have to be grounded. You have to be grounded. You have to be grounded. You have to learn how to hold your energy in alignment and learn how to actually download knowledge in a way that is invigorating and re-energizing to you, that doesn't wipe you out for days when downloads come in. Okay, we don't do that anymore. That's like old Ascension. That's like Ascension 2.0, 1.0. It's actually Ascension 1.0. Now, no downloads need to bring you offline. Okay, so learn how to do these things, and then we're shifting into higher levels of knowledge that we get to birth to the planet. So very exciting. I love you. Thank you for joining me. I'm Sonia G. This is our Moon Babes Monday Night Live here at Moon Babes and the Light Tribe. And you can find all the things we talked about in the link in my bio. You can find the courses on the homepage of the website. It's moonbabetribe.com. I love you, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Oh, and if you got to this part, comment on this live. Let me know what your favorite part was, and so that we can like do highlights and make reels out of it. I love seeing your comments. I love when we're engaging as a community and you tell me what's going on so that we can kind of, you know, go over more of those things. And also tell me if like this stuff was so basic for you, or if you feel like you need more knowledge on those things. I kind of really do want to see like, where are we at? Maybe we'll do that next time. We'll do like a live on that to kind of just like feel into, you know, the things that are useful to discuss here on the Monday Night Lives. I love you guys.